Today I'm at Hoover Dam at the entrance to the Sector 7 compound, for those of you who know what that is. Got a story, a World War II story for you, and something about Hoover Dam you probably have never heard before. Back when the dam opened in the late 30s, a lot of tourists came out here, and they didn't have all this tourist infrastructure they have now. It was a dam, an operating dam, so they came out here, looked at it, and left. Well, as the axis was rising, there were a lot of activities out here that looked suspicious to the people working at the dam. There were diplomats, German diplomats from Mexico were coming up and taking pictures. There were rumors of intrigue and other things like that. And so they became concerned that if we ever went to war, there could be trouble out here at the dam. The most vulnerable parts being these intake towers. There's 4 of them, 2 here and 2 on the Arizona side, where the water comes in. Well, after Pearl Harbor, they became very concerned that people would rent speedboats, come in here on Lake Mead and attack the intake towers. There was even talk of a submarine coming up the Colorado River this way and attacking the dam from the other side. So the Army deployed troops out here to protect the dam. And at all times, for a couple of years after Pearl Harbor, there was a platoon of soldiers on these ridges all around here protecting the dam. Well, they did more than that. They actually put up 4 machine gun nests protecting these intake towers. Well, 3 of them are gone, but the 4th one still stands. If you look over on the Arizona side, right there is a machine gun nest.
The Americans believed the Germans and Japanese wanted to destroy the 726-foot-high dam, or at least disable its power plants, and the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, which operated the dam, agreed the threat was real. But they had no idea how an attack might happen. Would enemy bombers attack from above? Would there be sabotage by night? Or maybe the waterborne attack I described earlier, with boats from Lake Mead or even from the Mexico side of the dam? Of course, Hoover Dam was very important and almost brand new, so the Army posted soldiers there to protect it from whatever attack might or might not happen.
It makes sense because Hoover Dam provided 2 gigawatts of power to the military industry out on the West Coast. You could power a lot of aircraft plants for that, or 1.5 DeLoreans, whatever you need to supply your 1.21 gigawatts with. But Hoover Dam can supply it.
And they left behind one of their machine gun nests, a concrete pillbox, in fact. It's still there, hiding in plain sight. The pillbox is 21 feet 6 inches by 13 feet 6 inches with 8 concrete walls. After the concrete pillbox was constructed, the construction crew added local volcanic rhyolite rocks for camouflage. That's the same rocks that make up the ridge the pillbox is sitting on. Basically, they made the pillbox invisible, years before the Romulans had that technology. The pillbox itself housed a machine gun, but could also protect a couple of riflemen, plus all of their gear and ammunition. Normally 1 to 3 soldiers were assigned for sentry duty in this particular pillbox. Reportedly, it got pretty hot during the summer though, because it's sitting there in the Arizona desert. Visitors to Hoover Dam walk across the top of the dam from Nevada to Arizona, tour the inside of the dam, walk across the new highway bridge, visit the museum, snack bar, parking garage, and gift shop. But very few know that one of those machine gun nests is still there, and once you see it, you can't unsee it, and will notice it every time you see the Arizona side of the dam. So what caused all this concern? Hoover Dam opened in 1936 and began to offer tours in 1937. As war spread across Europe, American intelligence operatives began to hear chatter about threats on U.S. soil. Hoover Dam, with its power turbines, emerged as a potential target for sabotage. In August 1939, the commissioner for the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, the dam manager, wrote a letter to an Interior Department official stating that it might be necessary to close Boulder Power Plant, they called it Boulder Power Plant back then, to the public, and to arrange for special policing of other structures and plants to provide protection from possible saboteurs. 2 months later, a ranger at the dam saw a German tourist taking a series of photographs near the dam.
And there was one German diplomat in particular that was out here right where I'm standing taking pictures in 1938 that got the attention of the local authorities.
At one point, the tourist was heard reprimanding a woman who had accompanied him for appearing too prominently in some of the pictures, spoiling them. Then, on November 30th, 1939, the U.S. Embassy in Mexico warned the State Department of a Nazi plot to bomb the dam's intake towers. In a dispatch to Washington, the embassy said German agents were found in Mexico City with the plans for the sabotage plot. Nazi spies living in Las Vegas had already visited the dam a dozen times to lay the groundwork. The Germans, according to the embassy, would rent boats for a fake fishing trip and then head to the intake towers. Once there, they would attach bombs to the towers and escape in those same boats, apparently with no fish. This caused an immediate ban on private boats in the vicinity of the dam. Searchlights were installed and wire netting was stretched across the lake to block watercraft from within 100 yards of the tower. Dam management was very concerned about an attack. All of this activity got people talking and conspiracy theories popped up everywhere, some of which described the possibility of U-boats, or other specialized submarines, sailing up the Colorado River from the Gulf of California to attack the dam. Fear spread, and soon Congress and the FBI began recommending various security measures for the dam. They included security patrols, inspection stations on approaches to the dam, and screening of tour groups and other visitors. In 1942, Alfred Hitchcock's film Saboteur featured a plot by a group of American traders to blow up Hoover Dam.
Shockingly, this did not help the panic at all.
Various countermeasures were suggested, including a steel canopy over the dam to protect from bombers, stringing cables across the canyon to entangle said bombers or deflect their bombs. It was even suggested to build a dummy dam downstream from the real dam as a dam decoy. After the Pearl Harbor attack, the dam was closed to all non-official visitors. The next day, dam officials officially asked the Army for help, and within days, the 4 machine gun emplacements were under construction, including the Pillbox on the Arizona side of the dam. Of course, nothing happened. The submarines must have been busy elsewhere, and the Army left by early 1943. There was no money available to hire private security, so the machine gun nests were all abandoned. The other machine gun nests are lost to history, but the pillbox that remains sat there until the late 1970s when dam officials decided to open it to the public as a historic site. This did not work very well. Visitors defaced the walls inside the pillbox with graffiti and left garbage on the floor, and in 1982 someone tore down a section of the rock wall. Repairs were made, and the pillbox was made off-limits to all visitors, and dam management placed a boulder in front of the pillbox door to keep all of you urban explorers out.
Thanks, 80s hiker person. Really appreciate that.
They've talked about reopening the pillbox, but modern safety rules would require guardrails and handicap access. Plus, a bunch of snakes live up there and they don't like tourists, so all you can do now is look at the pillbox from a distance. But if you go to the lookout point on the Arizona side, you can get pretty close to it.
But the machine gun nest is there today. It's not accessible to the public, but next time you come to Hoover Dam, you can see it. It's right there on that ridge. Usually the videos on this channel are about us building things, but sometimes we go outside into the big blue room and we share what we've done, and so you can see where we've been and the cool things we've seen. So every now and then we'll do that. Otherwise, back to building stuff. But if you like what you see here, hey, check out our videos, subscribe, ring that bell so you won't miss any updates, and I'll see you next time.